I recently turned 36 years old and therefore really cemented my spot as the oldest person on Earth. I had heard talk about a guy that was 35, but now I feel like my title is safe. As an old, extremely wise man, I can tell you that a crappy thing can happen as you get older. What can happen is that some of your old hobbies don't really seem fun to you anymore, and picking up new ones can be tough. Every time I try, I end up with a lower back injury, or I spend too much money on something that I use twice. I bought a ukulele, but I wasn't immediately good at it, so I was forced to stop trying. What choice did I have? That happens a lot, so I figured that instead of trying a new hobby, maybe I'd try to reconnect with an old one. Give it the old college try, which means I'll try. You've probably heard of video games. It is an industry worth hundreds of dollars, and I used to play quite often in the days of my youth and have fun doing it. I am still chasing the high of how I felt playing Crash Bash on PS1. To this day, nothing has ever come close. Another franchise I put hours into is Grand Theft Auto. Other than the last couple of years, I've been playing GTA for most of my life. GTA 5 came out in 2013, back when I wasn't geriatric yet, and I had a ton of fun with that too. Going online was something I enjoyed. Here are some things I would do online. I'd go pow pow, I would drive fast into pedestrian, and do a little jump. Just really good stuff overall. But I went on recently, and I don't know what's going on there anymore. There are like spaceships, there's something called a Megalodon shark card. And why does my fake little phone keep ringing? I don't answer calls in real life. You think I'm gonna pick up a fake one? It frankly gave me anxiety, in the same way that anxiety song from Doechii gives me anxiety. Stop pushing that song so much! It's just that other song with different lyrics. Anyway, I then found out about something called GTA Roleplay, and I thought, inappropriate. But turns out what it is, it's all these servers on PCs where the game is modded and people take it a little bit more seriously. In fact, there are these things called whitelisted servers and people take it extra seriously. Like you have to apply, and then if you break character, they kick you because you're breaking their immersion. As a father of one with 18 YouTube channels, I didn't think I'd have time to Jane Goodall my way into one of those and gain their trust, so I didn't. But the normal roleplay server seemed like a good middle ground between getting spaceships sniped by a 14-year-old in a Sasquatch costume because he did more microtransactions than me, and the Daniel Day-Lewis folks on the RP whitelists. Now, I know nothing about PC gaming or recording gameplay footage or whatever, so I had my producer Dave help me get set up over video chat.
So OBS, does that have anything to do with IBS?
No, it has nothing to do with IBS.
Because I have IBS.
Thanks for sharing. It's open broadcast.
Oh, it's open. It falls right out of it.
And just like that, I was set up and off to the races. Also, off to the racists. I heard the N-word several times during my travels.
You're a no.
So when you get onto this software called 5M, you see a list of all these roleplay servers you can go on. And they all have little flashy titles, and their use of symbols is reminiscent of how people in my high school used to write out their names on MSN Messenger back in the day. Anyone remember that? This is the worst medium for crowd work. Anyway, this list was pretty overwhelming, so I developed this strategy where I picked the first one at the top of the list. VIPRP. I thought that was a great combination of letters. Very important person roleplay. Sure. I was brought into a character creation screen where the shirts didn't quite cover my body. I slapped on some gas station sunglasses and called myself Reginald Reggie for no apparent reason. And you know what? I ended up kind of looking like that bowling guy who said, "Who do you think you are? And just like that, I was ready to roleplay, or ready to try. I was used to playing on PlayStation, and I had a PlayStation controller connected, but the controls felt really weird and didn't quite work the same, and I didn't know where to go or what to do. I finally made it out of my apartment, which I have to admit did make me a little proud, because that's not something I do very often in real life. I immediately met a guy in a blue cow onesie with a glowing sword, which I'll admit did make me question if these people were real role players.
And I have some money.
But then again, I've been to New York City, so the immersion wasn't fully broken. Seeing that while you're out walking in New York City, that would not even slow your stride. Within 7 seconds of encountering this small gang of people, I heard several slurs, which led me to believe these would not be my people. Did you know that people are out here saying slurs while they play video games? I had no idea. What is that about? This medium sucks for crowd work. Anyway, I then found a bicycle, so I figured I could maybe look around and find some other folks. As it turns out though, much like my guy's body, it was a little hard to control at first, so that project was not off to a great start. I ended up getting the hang of it pretty quickly though, and then I found a guy in a sports car that I could show some tricks to.
Damn, cuz, let me have a go.
He seemed to be pretty impressed and actually asked me if he could have a turn on the bike, which I agreed to, excited that I had made a new friend.
Is it fast?
It's very fast.
All right, let me try.
All right. I think that guy stole my bike.
I was lucky enough to find another bike pretty quickly after that shocking betrayal, and I decided to give that first group another shot because they hadn't all used slurs, so maybe they were like mostly not racist and homophobic. I hung out with this person for a minute, neither of us saying a word, but you know, standing and looking pretty cool. He was wearing a diaper, which, you know, I don't judge, but then that area quickly became a crime scene. So I decided it was time to spread my wings and fly to explore new horizons. The funny thing about horizons, though, is that you gotta give them a second to render, apparently. You can't just speed towards them on your super fast bicycle. And you know what? I know that now. I learned a lesson today. I'm proud of you, son. I made it quite some distance and did not see another soul. And then tragedy struck. See, the thing about Grand Theft Auto is that it lets you do some things that you always kind of want to do in real life. Like, you know that thing where you see any inclination of any kind and you just want to drive and jump off of it, but then you would be injured, so you don't do it. So obviously when I saw a staircase, I wanted to do a cool little jump off of it. But what happened instead is that I completely ate shit. Not in real life. In the game, I fell. I didn't consume any feces. That accident left my precious bicycle upside down, which is a death sentence for that bicycle, because how could you possibly flip a bicycle? Seemed to be the logic on this GTA server. With no way to flip my bike and no other players around, I needed to get some wheels. I saw a flying car briefly, and I was like, oh, but that was a glitch, so my excitement left my body. My excitement left my body? I don't like how that sounds. So then I made the decision to commit the crime of Grand Theft Auto, having been inspired by something or other. I don't know how the thought of doing that specific crime popped into my head, to be honest. That's how I found out the hard way that apparently you can't just take cars in GTA RP, or at least not on this server. You need to hotwire them, which I guess fair enough. Okay, that's a little touch of realism. But I also found out the hard way that I'm not good at doing that. You need to like hit E on the keyboard at the right time, which is tough when you're holding a controller, and then if you mess it up, that car is bricked and you have to find another one to try on. So I messed up and I tried again and I failed again. I tried with every car at that gas station, and now I was stranded with no cars and an upside down bike and no players around, and I kind of started missing the 14-year-old sniper douchebags from the real GTA Online a little bit. At least stuff happened on there. Now I was just stuck at a gas station in an empty fake world. Do you know how fun it is to stand at a fake gas station? It's about as fun as standing at a real gas station. The boredom was creeping up hard, and I didn't even succeed at my bike jump, so nothing cool had happened in a while. I considered starting the long walk back to the kleptomaniac homophobes, if I'm being quite honest. Then I saw a cop, so I figured, okay, let's at least get a fight going for some fun, for something to happen. But it turns out this cop was so much of an NPC that he wasn't even playing himself. Fighting cops is like half the whole thing of Grand Theft Auto. Why'd they put the realism of having to hotwire a car, but then they have a cop that doesn't react at all when you shove them? Some real selective realism going on, I'd say. The good news is I found a bicycle that spawned nearby, and I was off exploring once again. And I have to say, I did like that touch of realism because there are free bicycles lying around all over the place in real life too. All you need are some bolt cutters. Anyway, I traveled some more through the poorly rendering world for a while and did not see a single soul. Where are all the souls? So I decided to climb up a thingy to see if I could get a vantage point and spot some people or something. And to my surprise, that didn't work. I don't know why I thought I could see further on the horizon, which was rendering as I was walking through it. I then figured it might be fun to jump off this thing into the water, you know, just to feel something, just to pleasure myself. Nope, That turned out to be one of my worst ideas, and I began to die. Another touch of realism, I guess, because I imagine you would die if you dove off one of those things and hit concrete and then fell into some water. That was a nice touch. Not bad. I lay at the bottom of the water, clutching my stomach and writhing in pain, as drowning people do. And then I just kind of lay back and accepted my fate. To my surprise, though, then somebody dove into the freaking water and picked me up. This blonde lady somehow knew I was there and pulled me from the depths.
Oh, where the f*** is the ladder at?
She couldn't seem to locate a ladder, so she was understandably upset.
No f***ing ladders here? What the f***? I getting back up. I got fun short.
But she made sure to reassure me the whole time.
Just hang on, buddy. I got you. Gonna be alright.
I could tell I was in the hands of a professional.
I'm gonna start pumping this water out your lungs. Come on, damn it, Reginald. You can make it. I'm gonna give you some adrenaline. There we go.
Whew.
Cough that out.
Thank you.
No problem, buddy. You stay safe down here.
Okay.
And just like that, I was back in business with a new lease on life and a newfound understanding of the fragility of my... Oh, shit. At this point, I'm like 45 minutes into this play session, and I can't find another interesting person other than like non-reactive NPCs and a deep-voiced paramedic lady who ran away after saving me. But then something interesting finally happened. A helicopter appeared out of nowhere. I didn't know you could get those in here. I ran up to it and saw that it was the person in the diaper that I was silently standing next to earlier. Diaper person! I love a familiar diaper. This was the best friend I had in this whole world. We stood next to each other back in the day. Boy, oh boy, was I happy to see Diaper Man. I loved him. I loved him.
You want to get in?
Yeah.
We took off with no real destination in mind. I told him I was new to the city and didn't really know what I was doing.
You need me to take you somewhere?
No. Wherever.
So he told me he'd bring me to the apartments, which he said is where people hung out. So I was like, yeah, sure, okay. I asked him how he got a helicopter, and he tried to show me the menu where you can see that.
Press your F6 real quick.
Okay.
You could do that for me?
Oh, crap.
I was okay though, that was just a little fall compared to that other one that almost killed me earlier. Then he came to pick me up again and we were back on our way to these apartments.
Press F6, not F. F6, okay?
Okay.
When we got there though, I realized that apartments is just the name of where I started the game. So I was back with the blue cow guy and the violent homophobes, but at least there was some action. This was a lot better than the gas station. So after like an hour of gameplay, I figured people on this server just stand around where they spawn in and that's somehow fun for them. After a minute, I don't know, it still didn't seem like these would be my folks.
Let's get me now. I'm white. Oh my god. 6'4", blonde hair, blue eyes.
I saw somebody else hop in a helicopter and I figured I'd jump in to see if maybe they had something interesting to do or somewhere interesting to go. I quickly became suspicious that they did not because they jumped out of the helicopter, leaving it unpiloted with me inside, destined to crash, which hey, I did. Somehow that didn't kill me again, and so I started to wonder if maybe that paramedic lady had injected me with some kind of invisibility serum. That was twice that I had fallen out of the sky and walked away totally fine. I mean, this could be a whole new game for me if I couldn't take any damage anymore. My diaper buddy ran over to see if I was all right, and I was excited to tell him about my newfound immortality.
Oh, what the hell?
And you know what? That was it. I was done. I gave an hour of my life to this place, and I had no fun. Maybe this much fun. That's not that much fun. This is what I was hoping for in terms of fun, and I got this. Now, this was just one server, and that was just one little group of people, so I can't say that all of GTA RP is like this, but that was not fun. Maybe the fun stuff is happening on whitelisted servers, but my conclusion was that this will probably not be my new/old hobby. Maybe video games just aren't gonna be a part of my life anymore. So, it's become clear what I need to do. That sounds like Hi there, hello. Please hit that subscribe button. I am a disembodied head, so you can trust me. You can trust me.